Howdy, beautiful Bart here, and welcome. Alrighty, as the title suggests, we are going to set up a... Well, first off, if you want to follow along with this tutorial, I'll show you the process and get you there. But what we're going to do is set up a flying project and add the Sinti Studios plane, which is free. I'll show you that in here in just a moment. So if you don't already have a project set up, just click File, go to New Project, and select Flying, give it a name, and Create Project. I've already done so, and I are there, and I've got the polygon plane already installed in it. But the next thing you'll do, if you haven't already, is you go to the SintyStore.com, SintyStore.com, right there. If you don't have the link, I'll post a link in my channel. Plus, you know, if you're not using Synty Studios assets, then shame on you. Yeah, they're good stuff. Me likey, and they got some really cool things here too. Really cool. Well, we'll be doing some more stuff with this later on. Hopefully doing something soon with this. The UE4 version, not the Unity version. But maybe do something with this later on too. We've already shown most of the other packs already. But, okay, so you go to their page here, and you click on Free Assets, and they got a new coffee shop. Definitely want to go visit and get that. Pretty cool. I'll take a look at it in another video as well. You got Santa Claus. You have a few water guns. Kind of cool. The one we're going to use is the Stunt plane, but you also have bow and crossbow pack. You have Christmas pack with presents and snowman and Christmas trees and stuff. You got the Easter pack with the basket and the eggs and whatnot. And of course you got some pumpkins. So you're going to want to do this. You want to get them. They're all free. No reason not to get them. Except for the fact that whenever you click on the download link here, and it opens up and shows you all the stuff, but you can't download it. 6.6 megabytes. There's no easy way to well, the link is broken temporarily. But if you want to get it, all you have to do, and this is super simple, I mean, all you have to do is up here you have your link, okay? All the way at the very end there is a 0, okay? Change that 0 to a 1, hit enter, and guess what? There you go. That is your download. All you have to do is click OK and tell it where you want to download it to. I've already got it, so I'm going to cancel out, but just put it in a folder. I keep mine in a separate folder just for polygon assets. So once you have it downloaded, you're going to have... Let's go to the right folder here. Oh, so many assets here. Yeah, when you get it, I'm using a WinRAR, so if you're using a WinRAR, this will work. So all you'd have to do is right click on it and extract to polygon plane. Inside there you're going to have a bunch of other stuff in here. I didn't use anything except for polygon underscore plane underscore unreal underscore 4 underscore 14. Okay, and all you have to do with that one is right click on it and extract to, and it's going to create this folder. You go into it, go into here, and go into the content folder. So once you're in the content folder, you're going to have all this stuff right here. This is the only folder that we need. Okay. Now you'll just scroll up to where your project is. This one's called BBG Plane. Open up your content folder, and all you do is you can right click, right click, drag and drop it into your content folder, and select copy here, and it will copy that folder into there, and that's the folder you'll have. It's super easy. And you'll end up getting polygon plane. You'll have materials. There's 2 textures. There's 4 meshes. You got 3 things here: your skeleton, your physics asset, and your stunt plane. So the first thing I'm going to do is, I know that Unreal Engine 4 vexes me so, and whenever I hit play, I can't do anything because I have a mouse cursor. Why do I need a mouse cursor here? It's not going to help me with anything. I cannot control the plane until I click in the screen. And then we can use our WASD keys to move around. I don't like this. What I'll probably do is change this in a later video, but we just want to get you started with flying and changing out your models. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is go to my Flying BP Blueprints folder, Flying Pawn, and the first thing is up here you have Event Begin Play. We're going to add something to this. I'm just going to drag this over a little bit to make room, and then I'm going to create over here a new custom event, and we're going to call this Kill the Cursor, because I hate that cursor. So all we need in this custom event is to set input to game only. From there, we need to get a reference to our player controller. Get and select player controller. Select from here and set show mouse cursor. Leave it unchecked, and that is going to get rid of our mouse cursor in the appropriate fashion. So then all we have to do is drag off from our event begin play and add in kill the cursor. And that will take care of our cursor issue. Compost, save, and play. Why the hell do I still have a flying cursor then? Kill the cursor. What are we doing? Oh, because I don't know why they do it, but we have this right here instead of a player start, and we're in flying game mode. Flying pawn is default class, but because we have the pawn in there already, and why is it doing that still? Set input mode to game only and set show mouse cursor. Alright, it's got some VR junk in here, and I'm just going to go ahead and put this ahead of everything. I'm not using VR. I don't care about VR. It doesn't do anything for me. So I'm just going to make sure this is actually up front in my event begin play, because I want that to run before anything else. I want to make sure that, there we go, it's being run prior to anything else, so we get rid of that mouse cursor. Alright, so simple enough. But if we look in our flying pawn, the viewport, the plane mesh is the root. Now, technically I could remove that and get rid of it, but all we really need to do with this, it is a static mesh. Okay. Thankfully, Sinti Studios, whenever they create stuff, they do it correctly, and it is a skeletal mesh. Okay, so I've got it selected. I'm going to go ahead and add component and just drag that in there like that. So now we've got our plane, but it is facing the wrong direction. So I'm going to click on it, select rotate, and I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees that way. The next thing I'm going to do is go back to my plane mesh, the original one, and I'm going to check hidden in game and uncheck visible. Next thing I want to do is I want to grab my camera and I want to drag it back because it's a little bit too close. And we'll adjust it after this, but if I tried to do it there, then what would happen is it's going to be looking at the back of the airplane and we won't be able to see much. So do that. You know what, I'd like to be a little bit farther back. Now you will notice that the propeller is not spinning. Take a look at that in just a moment. Let's go ahead and drag the camera even farther back. Let's bring it up a little bit more. And now we can actually see the plane. It's kind of like a crop duster. It looks like it's got trailing stuff for crops. So the propeller itself is not going to spin. So kind of two options you can do there. You can create a custom animation. Let's go ahead and do save. Because what's going to happen here is the propeller is attached. Without a custom animation, then we have no way of making that actually spin separately. If we look at the skeleton and regular skeleton tree, you've got the prop right there. Now, technically speaking, that's the only thing that we really need to have as an animation, and we can probably go ahead and create an animation. Another option of what we could do is, if we take that, right click on it and copy selected bone names, go back in here, and we'll do something else here on event begin play. In fact, most of this stuff here I'm not even going to worry about. I'm not going to delete it right now because, well, no point just yet. If you don't want to see this and it's just taking up space, you don't have a clue what it does or don't care at the point, you can also do this, select everything, right click, and collapse nodes or collapse two functions. So I'm just going to collapse that. I don't care what it is and what it looks like. It's there, but what we need to do is connect this to the output. And we can go back to the event graph there, scroll back in, and now we have a place to continue on with. So we can add stuff before there or after there, it doesn't matter. But at least we have a way of clearing that up so it's not wasting a lot of space in the our view. So I'm just going to compile and save. Now, to create it so that the propeller is one option, not visible. We want to get rid of it. We don't want to delete it, but because it's not going to spin, you know, we could sit here and do this. We can adjust speeds and stuff in a little bit. Maybe add another key in for increasing speed, which it's doing right now incrementally, whatever the hell that word is, by holding the space bar, the shift key, left shift. So at least, you know, that's quick fix for flying. Of course, you definitely want to have a sound file to go with it and that kind of stuff. Right click, and then I'm going to go ahead and create custom event. No prop. Then hide bone by name. Click inside here and Control V to paste the name in. And in theory, once we connect that in, it should get rid of the prop. Of course, I've been wrong before, so we'll just drag off from there. No prop. Add that custom event in here. So we go in here to play. It's going to hide the prop. And short term, you can do other things, like you can create a particle effect that'll be a circle shape that will take the appearance of it, and that will at least give you something for, you know, visibility of a prop. You could also configure it to where you check your, you know, if you were to be able to set up a landing system to where you get to the ground and run it is on ground, you could run another sequence of events there to detect that it's actually on the ground. Collision looks a little bit iffy, but whatever. It's a free plane. What do you want? So in here, that's all we've done is just hide that. We hid that bone. I mean, you could use that same basic principle of if you get a headshot on somebody, you could hide the bone name of their head, and okay, then do a death sequence after that. So then they, you know, do maybe a particle effect of blood splatter and, you know, a widget blueprint of headshot coming up there with the audio file and everything else. So the head just disappears and then they fall to the ground dead. Yeah, that's one way you could go about doing a headshot. But trying to create an actual animation, if you're gifted with that, go right ahead. You can do create animation, current pose. And before I do that, let's actually set up a temporary folder for that. We'll go here for a new folder, animations. So we'll have a place to put it. Create asset, create animation, current pose, and go to animation folder. prop underscore anim. Whatever. I am nowhere near good at doing these things. You can see we have nothing here. We have no frames. So you could always take this, select the prop, hit pause, and from here, since there's nothing, let's right click and insert frame after, and then want it to be at frame 1, so slide it all the way to the end, and then you could rotate it 10 degrees, key and apply, pause it. Where is my frame? Alright, so right here, yeah, I am totally no good at doing this. So yeah, we've done that. We have gone to the end, insert frame after 1. So we'll bring this to 1. Rotate 10 degrees, apply. So technically, what we're wanting to do is create it to where we're making our own animation one frame at a time. And let's hit save and see what happens. Nothing. So at 0, it should be at its normal position. And then at 1 second, well, 1 frame, key and apply. Damn, I'm really bad at this. So you can see it's starting to move. So you'd end up having to do this to where right click, insert frame after 2, bring it to here to frame 2, rotate it 10, and just sit there and take your time, key apply, key apply, key apply, and you're going to end up having to do this enough to make it to where at least it gets, since you have 3 blades, enough for it to make 1 turn so that the next blade is in the same position straight down as the first frame. Nope, I'm not going to make you sit here and watch this. It is painfully slow to do it this way. I am sure that if you know how to do something better than this, then go right ahead. Start frame, bring it to 4, rotate it 10, key apply. So now if you see it's starting to move, it looks terrible, but again, this is going to be a painful thing to where you're going to sit there and have to do, you could do every other frame, probably be better, or you could set it up to where your rotation is set at 5 and do it 5 for each frame. But take your time. Key, apply. So you can see it's going to be a painful process. I am not an animator, but you can see as I move it slowly, the propeller is turning slow. You could go ahead and probably put in like 10 frames, 20 frames, whatever you want. And just keep going. I'll do this on my own time, but the key of it is, since it was so easy for the for getting this thing to work and just replacing the plane that's in that particular thing, key and apply. Get into a groove of things. See, it's rotating back whenever I go there, but definitely want to take your time. Delightful. So if we're looking at 8, yeah, it's probably going to take about 20 frames to do this. But the reason that I'm sticking to doing it 1 frame, and I wish it would snap to the frame here. Let's see here. ReZero, no. Again, I am not an expert at this. I don't claim to be on that part. But I did want to share that it's nice that Synty provided us with a free airplane. I'm going to stop here at 10. And frame 10. And then I'll just come back and do this on my own. I'm going to hit save. Now, instead of running the no prop, I'm going to plug this back in here and compile and save. So we've removed the no prop feature. Look at this. We go back to our stunt plane, and if we're going to create our own animation, or if you can find an animation for just this or whatever, right here in animation mode, select use animation asset, then select your prop anim. See, mine's all going to spin a little short amount here. Compile and save, and it's set to looping. It's like I said, it's going to look like crap right now because it's not finished, but as you can see, it's starting to get that rotation. So that's a way that you can actually hand create a rotating animation for the propeller. Now, if this was an airplane that had 2 props, then you're going to have to do it twice. You're going to have to do, well, you don't have to do it twice, but you're going to have to do it once for 1 time, with each propeller being turned by 5 or by 10. So the basic process that I just did, if you're trying to do it that way, then you're going to end up having to do the same thing for each prop for every frame. So it's going to take, with a 3-bladed prop, it's probably going to take about 20 or so frames at minimum. You could double it up if you want the prop to be a bit more visible that it's turning. You could double it up and run 40, or you can just do half frames, or 5% rotation per, or 5-point rotation for each one. But any questions on anything so far? I mean, like I said, the animation part of it is going to be slow and painful. But now that I've already created it, I can actually go ahead and just keep editing. And I've already got it to work on the plane, so all I really have to do is just keep adding frames. See, I'm rotating by 10 each time. You could do it by 5 each time for each frame, which might actually be a little better. You can also change the animation rate a little bit different way. There's all kinds of things you can do once you have the animation. And like I said, this is a slow, painful way of doing it, but it does get the job done. And I swear, I don't have the patience to keep doing this. But I'll do it anyway. And if it looks worth a darn in the long run, then what I can do is I'll post it on my Discord channel, and if you want it, you can have it. The animation, that is. And I may even post it on the Sinti Studios Discord. Oh, undo, because we didn't move it yet. Now we're at 15. Key and apply. So we'll take a look at it again. And since it's automatically looping like this, it's just going to continuously run this way. So we have a broken animation. Alright, for some reason I messed that up. Key, apply. You can see we're starting to get our rotation around. Go back to 7. Yeah, this is painful and time consuming. I'm sure there has to be a better way of doing this. I'm not an animator. But you get the point. That is how you get this thing flying. So we had two options there. We can create our animation for the propeller spinning, and if you don't want to deal with the propeller spinning, then you can always do what we did over here, which was create a method of getting rid of the propeller. Get a reference. I build a custom event, get a reference to my plain skeletal mesh, and hide bone by name. Place the name inside here, and then I'm just going to connect that up to my begin play for no prop. So I can run that custom event there. Now compile, save, and now whenever I hit play, there's no propeller at all. So it's just hiding that particular bone. So if you don't want to do the propeller, or you want to do it later, you just want to hide it for now, then you can hide it by bone name. For our initial speed, if we look at our flying pawn, just click on the top right up here. You got acceleration is 500, turn speed, max speed. Let's see what happens when we go from 4,000 to 8,000 on our max speed. Alright, so I'm holding down the left shift to increase my speed. So it's moving a little faster now. I'm using WASD to control it. I think I would rather have mouse movement for controls. You see, I quit holding down the shift key and it went back to a lower flying speed. Turn speed, max speed. Alright, so apply forward speed. Current forward speed is set to 500. Aha, okay. So we got acceleration is 500. Turn speed, minimum speed is 500. Current forward speed. Now we're just using the standard setup right here. The minimum speed, we can actually increase that. But what it's doing right here is current forward speed. Set forward speed value using thrust input. So input axis thrust is going to be our left shift. And whatever. Input axis move up. We could probably change all these over to mouse controls, but like I said, I'll do that in another video. So you got our minimum speed and maximum speed. So what I think I'll do is go to my minimum speed, and instead of 500, I'm just going to change that to 1500. Because the minimum speed's a little bit on the painful side. So by changing that, what happens? So that does. It actually picks up our minimum speed. You can still use the left shift to do like WEP, War Emergency Power, and set up essentially it's a sprint for an airplane. But if we let go of it, then it'll slow our plane back down to our minimum speed of 15. What I'll also probably do is come up with some way of crashing the plane. So right now, we have no way, other than looking at the sky now, it's difficult to figure out the attitude of the aircraft. So something to look at later on if you wanted to continue with a flying project, then you would definitely want to do something that would show the attitude, you know, your cant angle, things like that. And of course, everybody wants to add guns. Even though this is a crop duster, technically speaking, it is a crop duster, or as they call it, just a plane or a stunt plane, but you could set up to where you hold down the spacebar key and it deploys a particle effect. I don't have any particle effects in here, but short term, just kind of showcase that, and then I'll get out of here and set up for another video. Add content, and Synty Studios has plenty of particle effects, but if you don't have, why you wouldn't have more Synty Studios assets is unknown, because you need to have them. You need to have them all. It's like collecting. But for right now, I'm just going to add starter content just because I want the smoke particle effect. And I'll just show really quickly how to add a smoke particle effect. Or like if you've got the farm pack and you wanted to add this plane in, it set it up to where your character can walk over and now take control of the airplane, fly it over and spray your crops. Maybe, just so you can add a crop dusting feature to your farm pack. So all I really care about in here for right now is particles, and for now we're just going to put smoke. So what I'll do here is find another good clear spot, and we can do this a couple different ways. We'll do this the easy way. I'm going to have to kill my my animation. That animation is just terrible. For now, I'll just take this, go back here, and hit clear, so I can get rid of the terrible animation that I was working on. So with nothing selected here, I'm going to add component, and it's going to be a particle system, which is smoke, which is the one I had selected. Now, I don't want it to be there. For the sake of it, I'm just going to stick it here on the wing. I don't see the little trailing edge pieces in oh, there they are. So if we wanted to add them to that, just position it. Now, you don't want it all the way, all the time being there. But what I'll do is I'll put one here and Control C, Control V. So I'll put a second one right here. Now, just because they're going up right now is because the plane is not moving. Come in here and we'll do keyboard space bar, and that's going to give us a keybind event. And what I'll do here is do a flip flop, which will act like a toggle system. Then I'm going to grab a reference to my P-Smoke and P-Smoke 1. The next thing I'm going to do is come down here, and we don't want them to auto activate. So we'll uncheck both of those, compile and save, and then we'll drag off from P-Smoke and we'll do activate, and then we'll drag off from here to here and deactivate. Alright, so now I will do the same thing. I'll just drag this one up here and drag this one to here, connect this to A and this to B. B, thank you. So whenever we press the spacebar the first time, it's going to activate it. We hit it again, it's going to deactivate it. Now, spacebar. So we got steam, and it is just going straight up. It's not being affected. So if that's the case, grab both of these. Rotate them back by 90. Spacebar, cut it on. Yeah, that's not the best effect of it there. Well, we'll probably do a different type, like a steam or something like that. But spacebar again to turn it off. So we've got a particle effect. It looks like a better look for smoke. Since that one kind of sucks. Let's go back up here, change it from P-Smoke. Let's try that. Yeah, it didn't work as intended, but you get the picture. So now I can turn it on, I can turn it off by hitting spacebar again, and it will dissipate. Trying to use, just whatever I've got for particle effects here. I mean, hell, same basic principle if you're trying to trigger it so it looks like it's on fire. Well, that's explosion. Fire. Because for some reason this is not considered to be movement. You can increase the number of particles. You notice the smoke is actually not going with the fire. Yeah, I don't like that. You can't really do a loop with this. So this is UE4, so we'll turn the fire and smoke off. Alright, you make any questions before I get the heck out of here? No, you can't land with this yet, but that was just to get you started. To get you rolling, get you in a plane, get you flying. This one has fixed landing gear. If you want to create an animation for planes that actually have the retractable landing gear, like the C-130 or some of the other ones from the other packs, you're going to have to create your own animations that way. But like I said, this is good enough to get you started. That's all I really wanted to do with this video, is show you how to get the downloads to work for the free assets, to quickly put it into the game, quickly get flying, and that's what we did. Did that in the first 10-12 minutes of the video. I want to thank everybody for watching. I'm going to go ahead and finish up this video, take a break for a little bit, and get ready to do another one. Alright, if you got any ideas for other videos or questions, I do a spitball series usually on Wednesdays where I just throw open a project, and when people show up, let them start asking questions. Oh, how do you do this? How do you do that? And I will do what I can to try to make those, whatever you want to work inside of a spitball project that has no bearing on anything that I'm working on. And this was just a sample project that I put together pretty much just for this. You could always go back in like to the war pack and bring in those planes, fly those planes the same way, set up the propellers the same way. It'll work for any aircraft, skeletal mesh or static mesh. Going into an advanced flight mechanics, that's a little bit different story, because you're going to have a little bit different control of the meshes themselves. So when you actually look at the skeleton of these planes right here, even though these are just free, they could have been just this and that would have been okay. But since they do have flaps, being able to adjust the flaps on your aircraft as you're flying would be a really nice touch. So that's something for more of an advanced video. But you've got your flaps, and should have a rudder working rudder, maybe. Flaps rear, okay. Your horizontal stabilizers, flap tail. Yep, that would be your rudder. So you could actually get everything set up to where you can create a system for turning the actual rudder and the flaps and make that all work. A good animation for your prop. This one actually has a working stick. If you wanted a camera that's inside there, that's something that I can do relatively quickly. But you notice that it has a split canopy. So if you just wanted to add in a second camera, I know I said I was getting out of here, but let's go ahead and go to our viewport. We will add in a new component, camera, and we'll do this our FPS cam, or I will call it cockpit cam. Scroll down, turn off auto activate, compile, save, go to here, and just like we did with that, in fact, we can actually just take this, Control C, Control V, and then we don't use the space bar. But what we can do is delete those two references, and instead of spacebar, we can click here, keyboard. Let's use the V key as in Victor or View. There we go. drag in our cockpit cam and our regular cam. And what we're going to do here is let's break that temporarily. And actually change the direction of these. So we want to deactivate and then activate. Then grab both of those, Control C, Control V, so now we have a second set. Then all we need to do is drag B to here. So what we want to do is when we want to turn on our cockpit camera, we want to deactivate our regular camera and activate our new camera. We want to go the opposite direction. We want to deactivate our cockpit camera and turn back on our other camera. So let's go back to our viewport, look at my cockpit camera. Let's move it up a little bit, and I'm going to put it actually just sticking through the cockpit. Take a look at it, see how it works. Hit V, and now we can see from our cockpit view. Hit V again, and go back to our outside view. Alright. Any questions before I close this video up? We got a working Sinti Studios polygon airplane here. We have a really crappy fire and smoke system. We're just showing how to spawn particle effects from our vehicle. We can also change our view back and forth. We've increased the overall speed just a little bit. The left shift key will increase our speed. We stop using the shift, it slows us back down. But hey, it's simple, but it works. So if anybody wants to learn more on an advanced of flying the aircraft, let me know. If you want to set it up to where the airplane can shoot, let me know. Takeoff and land, those are all things towards advanced wise. Shooting is a simple thing. Instead of turning on and off the crappy particle effects that I put on here, then we can actually use spacebar to actually shoot. Actually, yeah, let's do that. Short term, whatever, we'll just throw that on there. Actually, let's do that for now. So many things you can do with these. If you had a muzzle flash for a particle effect, you could do that. So there, I just, simulated firing my guns. So that we actually can get away with just, firing it. We can just do this. On pressed. We do that, and on released, we do that. That's not the best way to do it, but you can see we can just sit here and there's so many ways you can go about doing that. This is the wrong particle effect to do that with, but I just want to have something to show for. You could use your left mouse button to fire projectiles and actually create a projectile that spawns whenever you do that, and actually fire it in multiple different places. You could have guns on each wings. You could do whatever. If you wanted to make it look like there is a gun there, you can create a mesh that you can add on there, like a gun pod or whatever. Starter content. You've got props and shapes or whatever. You can create something, throw it in here, go to your viewport and attach it in. So I can see why the plane itself is the way it is. I don't know if it's kind of hard to see in the video, but there's a flat plane here. Not airplane, but a flat plane. Move the actual whole entire thing up. And I'm going to actually Move it up to where the wings are at the 0 location. Not worried about the landing gear, because technically speaking, we're not landing this plane. Now, if we come down to the ground, we can see that a little bit higher above, instead of the whole plane going underground. All right, guys and gals, let me know on Discord what you want to see. On my Discord channel, that's the only one that I truly monitor on a regular basis. So if I post something somewhere else on a different Discord page, I'm really not watching that one. I'm watching my channel. While I'm streaming, I'm watching the general UE4 channel. If I'm doing UE4 related stuff, if I'm playing a game or anything non-UE4 related, then I'll be monitoring the General Mayhem channel. So, any questions, drop by my Discord channel, say hello, and ask questions there. Thanks for watching, and we will see you around.